Good morning and welcome to Sew Saturdays. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a shift dress. It's very vintage, very popular back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, I believe. They used to wear the shift dresses, all the time. But basically it's just a straight dress. And you can design it however you want. Obviously I'm going to show you the way I'm going to make it. I'm using cotton lycra fabric for mine, and I'm also going to use some satin, black satin for the collar, satin charmeuse. I bought this fabric from Fabric World USA. I will leave the link below in the description. They're a New York company, so it won't take as long as most fabric coming from other places. Well, for me at least, I live in Michigan, so it didn't take very long for me to get this fabric. Also, my black satin charmeuse I get from Thread Art USA. You can either get that from there or from fabric.com. I get a lot of my fabric from there. I have a wholesale account with Thread Art, so buying fabric from there is a lot cheaper. I will let you know that you do need to have a $50 minimum order when you're ordering from Thread Art if you have a wholesale account. If you don't and you're just buying as retail, you don't need a minimum to purchase from there. But I do want to apologize for not making a video last Saturday. I was very sick, and I also had my grandson over and he was really sick, so I just didn't get around to making a video. I was supposed to have this video done ahead of time, but I was really busy this week volunteering at two of my kids' schools, so I didn't do it earlier like I normally do. So today I think I'm going to do two videos to make up for not doing one last Saturday. I'll do the shift dress and I'll also show you how to make an infinity scarf. And this shift dress, when I show you how to make it, you can wear a shirt underneath it, and you don't have to make it with a collar, especially if you're going to wear a shirt underneath it. I'm making this one for my daughter, but the way I show you, you can make it for yourself, you can make it for your child, you know, your grandchild, whoever you sew for. This is a great little dress to have in your wardrobe. First I'm going to show you how to make the infinity scarf, and then we'll go ahead with the shift dress. Okay, so I have this fabric here. I'm going to show you. It's like a polka dot. I thought it was black, but it's actually gray, if you could see. This is actually a half a yard of, it's a stretch rayon blend, and I got this from fabric.com. It's really, really soft, and I'm going to use the entire fabric for this project. So what I always do is I fold. When I sew, I'm going to sew on the wrong side. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to sew it like a tube. So as you can see, I'm folding it and I'm going to pin along the line here, and then I'm going to go ahead and sew this. These are really easy to make, take no time, and they make great gifts. I made some infinity scarves for my nieces for Christmas, last Christmas, and they really liked them. And you could do this with any kind of fabric. I just like, for this particular project, to use this stretch rayon because it's really soft. And when I make things for my daughter, I like them to be really soft. And as you can see, this is my muse. She's so pretty with her wild hair right now. Sorry for the interruption, but I'm just going along, and as you can see, I'm just pinning it, and I'm going to pin all the way along the tube. And if you want to iron yours now, you could go ahead and do that. Sometimes I iron as I pin. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this, and then I'm going to stitch it, then I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then we'll go to the next step. So if you missed anything, I have a half a yard of this fabric. It's a stretch rayon blend. I found it on fabric.com. It's a white and like dark gray, charcoal gray, or charcoal black, whatever you want to say, polka dot. It's really, really soft. Anyway, because I'm making this for my daughter, I'm only using a half a yard. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and finish pinning this. Then we're going to sew it, just a straight stitch You could do a zigzag stitch if you want, or a finishing stitch if you have one on your sewing machine. And once I'm finished sewing it all together, I'll show you what it looks like. It's going to look like a long tube. Once we have it all sewn, we're going to connect the two, and then I'll show you how to wear it if you don't know. Okay, so I just want to show you that I'm going through here and how I'm sewing and what kind of stitch I'm using. As you can see, I've sewn a little bit already, and you see how we have the opening here. So it's like a tube. Like I said, it's going to look like a tube once you're done. And I'm just going through with a straight stitch. I'm using a straight stitch today for this project. And because I'm using the the stretch rayon, I'm going a little bit slower because sometimes it tends to get bunched up in the sewing machine. One way to use a little trick, and I do this sometimes for my satin fabric, is to put tissue paper down as you sew, and it rips right off. Even if you stitch through the tissue paper will come off once you're done. You just pull it off, and that's a way you can stabilize your satins, your rayons, all of your like synthetic fabrics that have a hard time going through the sewing machine or get stuck as you're stitching. And make sure you're using the proper thread for each project that you do. The thread makes a huge difference. When I go to the fabric store, I take my time. I take my time because I want to see the name of certain fabrics. I want to see what it is that I'm looking for. I want to write down everything there is to know about the threads and what threads to use for the right fabric. When I first started sewing, I did not pay attention to any of that, and I learned over time what certain thread was used for. And because I buy a lot of my fabric online, I like to go into the fabric store and see what it is I'm looking at. So when I order my fabric, I know exactly what I'm getting. I know exactly how it feels, and I know exactly what I'm going to use it for. So as you can see, I'm still going through with the straight stitch, and I'm holding down my fabric as I go, because if I didn't, it would go in crooked because it's so slippery. The stretch rayon is, it would give me a crooked stitch and it would be off. Normally it matters big time. Sometimes it doesn't matter with the infinity scarves because no one's going to see your mistakes. But if you're making a shirt or you're making a pair of shorts or a skirt or pants, it makes a big difference where your stitch is, because it can mean so many things. You know, you may mess up an armhole, or you may mess up a hem not holding your fabric down or getting the stitch in an even straight line. So I'm going to go ahead and finish stitching this. I just wanted to give you that little tip. And once I'm done with this, I'm going to turn the fabric right side out, sorry, and then we'll sew it together to make the infinity scarf. Okay, so as you can see, we're done. We have this long tube-like fabric here that we just sewed together, and as I said, I did a straight stitch. I still have it on the wrong side. It's pretty secure. If you are unsure about your seam, you can go ahead and do a zigzag first or a straight stitch. Sometimes I do that, but this is how I check to see if my seam is really secure. I do the pull test. If it comes apart as I pull down, then I know I need to secure it a little bit more. But as I'm pulling, I could feel the tightness of it, and I know that I don't have to worry about my seams. It's nothing more frustrating when you purchase something or you make something and then the seam comes apart. When I make stuff and I make stuff to sell, I make sure that all my seams are secure because it stands by your quality. So now I'm just turning it, whoops, right side out, and as you can see, this is what it looks like. So, you know, I'm a little anal, so I want that to kind of be in the center, so I'll fix that so it's centered, kind of like that. And what we're going to do with this is take it and we're going to sew it on the side where the seam is. So we're going to like fold this in half like so until it's even at the bottom. Then we're going to take our tube like ends here and we're going to pin this together. And if you want to straighten it out, like iron it to make it a little bit easier for you to pin it, then go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to actually go ahead and do that, because what you'll realize with this rayon fabric or any kind of cotton blends, knits, they tend to roll over, which can be a little frustrating when you're trying to put pieces together. Okay, so now we have it pinned together, and we're just going to sew a straight stitch along here. So what you're looking at now, it looks like this, like a band almost. See? And once you're done stitching this, you're going to turn it to the right side, and then you'll see your seam. So let's go ahead and sew this, and then we'll come back and turn it right side out. I'll just show you something really quick, and this is what I'm talking about pulling to make sure your stitch is secure. What I noticed here is mine is not. I have a little hole. You can see my finger go through there. Nobody wants to purchase anything and see holes or have a hole appear after they wash it. So what I'm going to do now is go back over it, because this is not quality work to me. So I'm just going to pull it up, because everything else is stitched securely. I'm going to try to make it as even as possible. And then I'm going to go back in here and stitch. Sometimes when you stitch on one side, you always want to check the other side, because like I said, with this silkier fabric, and as always, you want to back stitch to reinforce it so your stitches are not coming apart. But as I was saying, with these silkier fabrics, they tend to slip, and you may think you have it together on one side, and then you turn around and see that it's not completely together on the other side. So you always want to check your work when you do it. It's kind of like when you're in school, and they tell you with math, always check your work to make sure it's right. Same thing with sewing. You don't want to give a product if it's not done properly. So I always cut off my stitches, because I hate to see hanging threads. So now we're going to do the seam test again, and this time when I do it, there are no holes. It's complete, it's done. So now all we're going to do is flip it over, shake it off, because sometimes there are threads hanging that you missed. You just want to shake them off. So now we have it. We have our seam here. Our seams are in here. And right now it just looks like a little band. And as I said, this is for my daughter, but I can wear it too. You know, you could double wrap it or however you want to do it. Make it look pretty, you know. It's a cute little piece for fall, since it's coming really soon. And you can make yours longer, you can make yours thicker, you know, you can just do it however you want. You can buy knit fabric to get a nice thick knit scarf, but this is it, and it's pretty simple, it's pretty easy. You can make these for gifts for the holidays, you know, even in the summertime. People wear scarves in the summer. Sometimes people want to wear an infinity scarf in the summer, so you can make this however you want. I would suggest though, if you're making this for an adult, you use 1 to 2 yards of fabric, depending on how big and how thick you want it. You can always fold the fabric double and then stitch it together, but this is a ½ yard. It's the perfect size for a little girl. She's 5. I think this would be great for her for winter, or if she just wants to wear it with one of her cool little outfits that I buy her, or anything like that. So if you have any questions or comments, please don't be rude and leave rude comments, because I will delete you. But go ahead and leave your questions or concerns in the comments. As I said, I will put in the description where I buy my fabric and thread from. And as always, see you next Saturday.